All right, well, welcome to Inside Gateway, your weekly look behind the curtain of Gateway Woods. And this is the third Wednesday of the month, so we are again back in Illinois. And we've used up all of our Illinois adoption staff, so today we have some very special guests. We have Mike and Susie Zobrist from Team 224. They live in Goodfield, Illinois, so they fit the bill perfectly. So we're excited to get to know them a little bit. So welcome, Mike and Sue. So maybe just introduce yourselves a little bit and explain what you do and how you got connected with Gateway Woods.
Well, we had attended the sale several times over the years. We've had some friends and family that have worked for Gateway Woods, and about 7 years ago, I came across a post on Facebook talking about the Gateway Woods benefit ride. And Susie and I both love bike riding. We've done some long rides over the years, and I saw this post about riding from Rittman, Ohio to Gateway Woods, and we thought that would be awesome. So I reached out to Todd Gosser, who had put the post up, and said, hey, we would love to come out and join your group from Ohio. And in the meantime, we ran into one of the Gateway Wood board members here in Central Illinois, and he said, hey, why don't we just start a group from Central Illinois? So that's kind of how the idea was born. I called Todd back and said, what would you think about a group coming from Central Illinois and meeting you guys at Gateway? And that's kind of how Team East and Team West was born.
Okay, so you started by going out east, and then that came from here.
Actually, we never did go out east.
No, you never actually ended up doing the ride. Okay.
Yeah, we had talked about doing it, and then when that board member approached us, we thought, oh, we'll just form a Team West, and the group in Ohio thought that was a good idea. So
okay.
So we just we made our maiden voyage from here in Central Illinois.
Okay.
So
great. So what is your history with bike riding? Were you always avid bikers, or did you think this is a great idea, let's get into it?
We were biking before. For our 20th wedding anniversary, we purchased a tandem road bike, and we've ridden that bike for the last 12 years. So we actually made the trip to Gateway each year on our tandem. So,
Okay.
but we had been riding prior to doing the Gateway ride. So
Okay. Good deal. So in your capacity with Team 224, what are some of the things that you guys tackle throughout the year? I'm sure it doesn't just all fall together in July.
well, now that August is here and the ride is over, I'll have about 3 months that I try not to think about it too much. But actually, it's pretty much a yearly thing. There's always something going on with it. We in 2016 we actually decided to form a nonprofit because it seemed like we were getting enough donations, and it seemed like something we really wanted to continue. And we were kind of at a crossroads: either we need to stop doing it, or we need to go ahead and form a nonprofit so we can give tax receipts and things like that. So at the end of 2015, we started that process. We became a 501c3 in 2016 then. And so we have done some other events, but Gateway is definitely our main event for the year.
Okay. So you're kind of the biking gurus. So we have you guys kind of behind the scenes and riding out there and setting everything up. Who else, and what are some of the other roles that people play besides just coming and riding out to Gateway that week?
Well, we have the East team, Todd and Lizzie Gosser and Julie Lance head up their side of the group and manage the East group, setting the routes, getting the support crew together. And then for us, we do the same thing. We have an incredible SAG team, and for those of you that don't know what SAG stands for, it stands for Support and Gear.
Or stop and go.
Or stop
Stop
and
and
go,
go.
as some of our crew lovingly states it. But they are really, you know, sometimes the riders kind of steal the glory, but
Mhm.
It's the support group.
the support crew is
Gets us
is
there.
amazing. When you think about it, they're feeding 75 people out of the back of the trailer, on the go, unloading and loading the trailer every morning and every night. So it's a big job, and it's a huge support. We have our business sponsors who also, we couldn't do this ride without them.
Yeah.
We have several sponsors that have been with us from the start. And we use those funds to cover our costs so that 100% of what's collected goes directly to Gateway Woods or to whatever event we're holding. So there is a huge support team behind us,
Mhm.
and we get the fun of laying everything out.
Yeah.
And so
Great. I had a question and it escaped me. So take us through, it's like a typical ride. So you start where?
we start in Fairbury, Illinois.
Okay.
So we leave, we do it in 3 days, so we leave on a Wednesday morning. So we usually have people start arriving about, we check in between 6:30 and 7, so we have people that are driving, they've driven a couple hours sometimes before the start. But we always start with a pre-ride meeting. We kind of go over instructions, and then we do a devotion, and we hit the road about 8 o'clock. And our first day is about 86, 87 miles. We feed everybody at the hotel on each night. Our second day is about 70 or 68 miles.
Okay.
Third day is about 78 to 80, depending on the route. So each day is pretty much the same routine. We have our devotions, we hit the road, and finish up at the hotel each night. So
Okay. Are you staying at the same hotels each year? And they.
we have, yeah. And the first night, it's just amazing how they've come to enjoy having us come.
Okay.
If you consider 75 bike riders rolling in with bikes in the lobby and helmets and gear all over the place, but they let us come back every year.
Okay.
So
And Kip and Donita for make the meal. She was for Edwin. They make this huge meal for bikers that it's amazing to feed us all. And each year she shows up at the hotel with this home cooked meal.
Oh, that's gotta be nice.
it's our best meal of the
Yeah.
trip.
Very good. So, from the year you started until now, how have you seen it change and evolve or grow? Has there been differences each year? Have you seen it grow, or has it been pretty much the same?
We started our first year with about 36 people total, I believe. We had, I believe, 29 riders, and the rest were support crew.
Okay.
This year was the first year we actually had to turn some people away.
Okay.
We've found over the years that the best number is somewhere between 50 and 60 riders.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go a little higher if we have people that have done the ride before and are experienced. If we have a lot of new people, we try and keep those numbers down a little bit. So just for safety purposes and being able to manage the crew, we found that those numbers are the best. And I really hate to turn people away, but it's kind of a necessity to keep things safe. So
Now you've talked about maybe a Team South.
we have, yeah. We actually looked into that this year. We just didn't have enough time to get it all organized. So we are hoping next year to start Team South. It would be a one-day ride on Friday, probably somewhere between 70 to 100 miles an hour, or 100 miles, not 100 miles an hour.
Those are
70 to
serious
100
bikers.
miles. But and it would probably leave somewhere maybe from the Bluffton area or south of Bluffton.
Okay.
We really don't have a route established yet, but we are looking for some people that would be willing to kind of head that up and organize it. Hopefully those people will show up in the next few months here and we can
Yeah.
get that started. But it would be a good option for people that can't take 2 or 3 days off work,
Mm-hmm.
still want to be a part of the ride, and yet just don't have the time or the maybe even the training to do that.
Right.
So
All right. So if you're an avid biker and you want to head up Team 224 South, get in touch with Mike and Sue. They'll hook you up, and it'd be a great thing. So when you're riding out to Leo, what are some of the challenges that face the group?
well, anytime you have that many bikers on rural roads, safety is really our biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm.
We've grown over the years in that. We've come up with some tips and some things to do to keep people safe. But it really comes down to each individual rider.
Yeah.
And we've got a good core group of people that have ridden with us over the years, and we have to keep each other in line sometimes. Our support crew does an excellent job of, they kind of mix into the groups a little bit. They'll follow a pack. If they see a car coming to pass, they warn us with a couple taps of the horn.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll jump on somebody if they're being unsafe. So
Okay.
that's really our biggest challenge is just keeping everybody in line, keeping things flowing, knowing where people are.
Mm-hmm.
We've improved with that every year. So
Well, good. So you could kind of say that's a microcosm of the body of Christ. You know, keeping people in line and making
Mhm.
sure everybody's safe, and
looking out for one another.
yeah, getting on them if they're getting out of line. So very good. All right. Well, Mike, you've talked a lot. Sue, do you have any highlights? I mean, just over the years, I'm sure there are things that come out that just are memories that stick in your mind. And I was talking to one of the bike riders this year in Leo, and she said, you know, it's just so much more than a bike ride. And so, do you have any of those, I don't know, mountaintop moments, I guess, that would inspire somebody, or that just stick out to you, that are special to you?
Well, like you were saying, the whole thing is like a mini analogy of working together as a team as we go through the journey of life. You know, there's potholes, there's flat tires, and somebody gets a flat tire and we stop, and everybody helps, and we keep going, and we have people that support us and along the way, and pray for each other. We get prayer cards, and we pray for the people at Gateway, and it just becomes a family. And so when we see people all throughout the year, somebody from the team, it's just like family. It's just like it's but you see each other, you're all working together, and you get to Gateway, and it's just amazing to be welcomed in by the crew from Gateway, and just to feel the love, and it's just like we hate it. That's the mountaintop.
Make it its mountaintop. Yeah. So you guys so while you're riding, you're praying for the people at Gateway. Wow. That's really amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, we get prayer cards ahead of time, and we pass them out, and everybody has somebody to pray for. And, if they write something special down, and we can feel the prayers from Gateway too.
Yeah.
We know that they're thinking of us, and Harvest Call sends out a reminder to pray for us, and we can feel that.
Good. Mike, how about you? Do you have any special memories or moments, or is?
I always tell people you can tolerate the ride for the fellowship.
Okay.
I mean, over the years we've just met some amazing people, and each year we have people that I've never met before from all over the country. We've had people from Canada and Oregon. Some have ties to our church and some don't. So you just form that bond. Like Susie said, you just when you see them on the street, you bump into them. It's just amazing that you've spent that time together and you've gotten to know them. And we had one of our riders was married this past spring, and as we were going in to sit for the wedding, the usher asked us if we were with the bride or the groom or with Team 224. So they had a whole section reserved for the bike riders, and it's just things like that you form those bonds and those friendships, and it's just an amazing experience.
So you could say that you guys are some of the founding members of the First Apostolic Christian Biker Gang. So if somebody is interested in supporting or joining Team 224 or even heading up Team South, do they get in touch with you or?
Yeah, they could go through the website at team224.org.
Okay.
Or they could contact us. On the website, there's a description of each event that we do of Team East and Team West, so you can figure out which group you'd like to ride with. Team East is a little bit more. They have a little bit more structure because they do it in 2 days and they ride a lot more miles. So we used to kind of call them the fast group and we're the slow group. But those descriptions are in there for each team. If anyone is interested in becoming a business sponsor or sponsoring us, we always appreciate those funds because that's what really allows us to take everything that we raise for events like the Gateway Ride. That all of that money can go directly to Gateway Woods.
Right. And this year was a record, right?
It was.
For the funds raised, so.
Yeah, every year it seems like it's grown, and we're thankful for that. And
It's amazing what God has done with it,
Yeah.
the whole thing, the fellowship and the support to Gateway.
Yeah, it's amazing. So that is all of my questions, and I know Mike and Sue were a little nervous coming into this, but you guys have done very, very good, and I appreciate it a lot. From us at Gateway and myself personally, we love you guys so much, and we appreciate what you do. It is one of my favorite parts of the auction is watching Team 224 come in and just like you said, seeing that race completed or that bike ride completed, and there's just that feeling of everybody's here, they're safe, and the support that they've given. So we love you guys very much, and we're so thankful to have you as part of the team. So.
And our one of our sayings we like to say is, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together.
Okay. Very wise words to end on, so thank you very much. Next week, John will be back in Indiana, so we'll be looking forward to that, and we thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, you can post them below, and we'll try and get them answered. This is obviously not live, so just post your questions or comments below, and we'll try to get to them as best we can. So thanks for watching.